Hello everyone, I'm Joshua.
And I'm Abe.
I'm Amanda.
I'm Jay.
And I'm Josh too.
Hello everyone, Joshua Myers here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Disney's Zootopia from 2016.
In Zootopia, it was a year of fantastic movies.
We're a naturalist club.
Oh, this ought to be interesting.
Hey, watch where you're going, Fox.
And now, the year of Zootopia begins. It's smart and surprising. The best film Disney Animation has made in 20 years.
Which is kind of a big deal.
Disney's Zootopia, in theaters and IMAX 3D, March 4th, rated PG.
Zootopia stars Jason Bateman, Idris Elba, J.K. Simmons, Octavia Spencer, Bonnie Hunt, and it's directed by Brian Howard. The plot of Zootopia is that it's set within an all-animal city of Zootopia, and it focuses on our main protagonist, Officer Judy Hopps, who is determined to prove herself and jumps at the chance to crack a case, even if it means partnering with fast-talking Nick Wilde to solve the mystery. What are my positives with Zootopia? Honestly, for me, I like the story, I like the characters. The animation is so good in this, honestly. Like, here's the thing, with the characters, like, for example, Jason Bateman as, Nick Wilde, who's this coyote, or whatever, or fox, or whatever. I don't know if this was intentional, but they designed these characters in a way where, if you didn't know who voiced these actors, you could tell who they are. Like, oh, you could tell that, or you could at least tell that they were designed to almost look like whoever's portraying them. And I had no idea who voiced some of these actors and that until I've done some research, so, and yeah, I gotta say, that's certainly the case. Also, this is kind of a, I guess you could say, children's crime thriller movie in a sense, because it's trying to investigate, a certain incident and that, and who's behind it and everything. And for the most part, it is a good mystery for kids and that, even for adults, I must admit. Except for one thing, we'll get to that in my negatives. And just the world they created is really interesting too. Again, the animation's so good, like the colors pop and everything. The humor is actually pretty good too. There's quite a few times that actually got me chuckle quite a bit, actually, to actually come up with a laugh. And it's very much an emotional movie, actually. The emotional moments are handled really well. There are some action sequences in this movie, surprisingly, and it's handled very well. It's fast-paced, and they do build up some tension, too, actually. There's supposed to be some suspenseful moments in this film, and they build it up relatively well, actually. And another thing I do like, which, now I do know this movie is discussing stuff with racism and all that stuff, subtext-wise, and when I first heard about this film in that regard, I was like, oh great, is it going to be another, Hollywood-made movie that's going to, beat you over the head with it, but this one didn't, actually, surprisingly. I think it didn't do it that much. At least none that I noticed, at least, And also, most of the times when Hollywood does make movies like this, it's very one-sided. It's like, but with this, you can actually take it as, just don't be prejudiced towards anybody. It doesn't matter if you're, white, black, Hispanic, whatever, or prejudice in another way, like sexism, it doesn't matter if you're man, woman, all this stuff. Just don't be prejudiced towards anybody, no matter who you are or who you're being prejudiced to. And I really did dug that. This could have very easily, again, like I said, been one that just smashes you over the head with it, being very one-sided. But it didn't, actually. It really didn't, and I actually respect it for that. Here's the thing, I think it did hit you over the head in one regard, like not too much still, but in the sense that there is this stuff happening. You know, there is racism and sexism going on. But they don't do it where it's one-sided, you know, like only a certain race or certain gender is being, you know, persecuted. But no, it's like, you could take it as, you know, anybody could be persecuted, you know, based on race and gender, you know, not, you know, like a woman could be, you know, persecuted and that, or a man, or men, or whatever, you know, or any sort of race, you know, white, etc. And I really did dug that, because most movies, again, for me, when they try to get all sort of political in that sense, I really do not like, because for me, it takes you out of the movie, you know. But this, I think, again, they did that very well. It is a good message, actually, and it is one that's not one-sided. It is very unbiased. So, which for me, you know, you can make movies that have, like, somewhat of a message like this, and have it not be one-sided. It could be unbiased. It could be even timeless. Yeah, I think it's a timeless message, too. Whereas if it were to be a film that's one-sided and hits you over the head with it, it would become very dated. What are my negatives with Zootopia? Honestly, for me, there are two negatives. One is, you know, the music, honestly, isn't that memorable, honestly. It's really forgettable. I don't remember a single music beat in this movie whatsoever. And the other negative I have is there is a surprise villain in this. You know, again, it's supposed to be a mystery to see who or what is doing all of this, and it is a surprise villain. And for me, the reason I put this on my negative is that, for one, you know, I saw the surprise villain coming from a mile away. In fact, once they put that character on screen, I was automatically like, that's the villain of our movie. You know, I was automatically like that the moment the character popped up on screen. So, for me, it was really predictable. There was no even additional surprises with that in mind, as far as, you know, towards the villain and that, you know, or anything like that. And not only that, the villain is just really uninteresting and very bland and generic. And it's a villain we've seen before, so, like a type of villain we've seen before, so nothing really that interesting in that regard, and it was pretty predictable. I think they could have done a lot better with that. Like, if they were going to have a surprise villain in that, like, either A, make the villain more interesting, or B, make the twist with the villain more interesting. Or both. If you can't do any of that, then maybe just don't have a surprise villain or anything like that. So with that said, I'm going to give Zootopia 4.5 out of 5 stars. Now, while the surprise villain not being that much of a surprise and all that stuff is a big deal a bit, I could overlook it for all the other stuff that's really good in this movie. Like, the stuff that's good is really good, and I really dug a lot of stuff this movie's done. I will admit this was the first time I've ever watched Zootopia. I'm really glad I did. It was a really good movie. One that if I have kids, I'd probably show it to them. So that's it for this review. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.